announced that WNBA TV ratings are down more than 50% since Caitlin Clark's injury, and it was also reported that the Indiana Fever television viewership is also down over 53%. Now, I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire...
The WNBA just got hit with a brutal reality check. It's like trying to stream Netflix without Wi-Fi. Impossible to watch and totally falling apart without Caitlin Clark. Playoff ratings didn't just drop. They crashed faster than your phone dying at 2 a.m. Now the league's in panic mode, scrambling to figure out how to bring fans back. Have people vanished? Or just switched over to pickleball highlights instead? Stay tuned because this playoff meltdown is juicier than your favorite reality show finale.
That the WNBA, that Kathy Engelbert saw some of the ratings that I'm about to show you now and said, hey, Indiana Fever, can you do us a favor? Can you do us a solid? Can you just tease a Caitlin Clark return, kind of boost these up a little bit? Can you just dangle a Caitlin Clark return in front of the fans' faces, try to boost these ratings up a little bit? There was one matchup that this league can consistently rely on to produce massive.
The WNBA had big dreams for this season. This was supposed to be the breakthrough moment, the year they finally took center stage and proved they could hang with the major leagues. But what really happened? It's like the entire league stumbled straight into a giant bucket of nacho cheese, then tried to play it off like it was all part of the plan.
Shocker. Imagine my surprise. Just imagine my surprise when Uncle Casey found out that the WNBA is struggling to maintain their ratings without Caitlin Clark. To make matters worse, and this is something I have definitely noticed in the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially since the All-Star game, the WNBA seems to be struggling to maintain.
Let's be honest, this WNBA season has been a beautiful disaster in motion. If you tuned in for actual basketball, you got hit with injury after injury, and refs making calls like they borrowed their glasses from a funhouse mirror. Meanwhile, the commissioner acts like player health is just a polite suggestion. And if you were here for pure entertainment, you probably bailed the moment Caitlin Clark spent more time sitting than scoring. At this point, her ankles might as well be public property. Defenders are treating her like a live crash test dummy.
Mine is gratitude. There's an incredible level of gratitude that should be accorded to this young lady with what she did for the sport.
How was the attendance for Team USA in the Olympics? What would it have been like if Caitlin Clark was playing on that team? Remember the first game? Look at this right here. National broadcast viewership. What are we talking about here? 1,000, what is that? 1.219? Is that the number? And the game afterwards got 485,000. So the Fever and their game against the Minnesota Lynx was 1.219.
You know it's bad when the most thrilling part of the season wasn't the games. It was fans betting on whether the entire league would collapse before the playoffs even ended. Spoiler alert, it's hanging on by a single desperate strip of duct tape whispering, please don't notice how bad this looks.
Superstars should thank their lucky stars for the record ratings Caitlin Clark is detonating, even if new fans are mostly white fans. It doesn't matter what color eyeballs are. But the other day, I must admit, it hit me like Katie Bell Henderson telling me that's enough. I told myself it's not race.
And speaking of rough, let's talk about the officiating this season because wow, the refs looked like they got recruited straight out of a mall food court during the lunch rush. One looked like they were still chewing a slice of pepperoni pizza while debating whether to call a flagrant foul. Another seemed convinced they were officiating a roller derby instead of basketball the consistency. Somewhere between a magic 8-ball and a fortune cookie. One game, a full-on shove gets ignored. The next, someone sneezes too loud and they're tossed out. If the refs had their own stat line this season, it'd read turnover 0, bad calls, every single possession.
WNBA has a problem, and that problem is Caitlin Clark not playing in WNBA games. Now, what all does this affect? The ratings are plummeting. Guys, there's ratings for a couple of these games.
Now let's talk about injuries. Because wow, this WNBA season looks less like a basketball league and more like an orthopedic surgeon's holiday bonus list. Caitlin Clark, for one, has spent nearly as much time recovering as she has playing. And can you blame her? Defenders act like she owes them money. Every drive to the rim turns into an episode of how hard can we hit Caitlin before the ref notices? And apparently, the answer is pretty hard. But Clark's not the only one getting wrecked in this basketball battlefield. You can almost hear the commissioner's office breathing a sigh of relief every time another star goes down, like, great, that's one less player we actually have to promote. And just when you think it couldn't get messier, Angel Reese said, you know what? I'm done, and walked out mid-season. In most leagues, that would be headline-breaking. In the WNBA, it feels like a statement. Because let's be honest, when your commissioner's juggling chaos, your refs are running a comedy routine, and players are dropping like flies in July heat, who wouldn't want to tap out? Reese probably figured it was safer to scroll Instagram than risk another game of tackle basketball.
And that the WNBA is excited about. That's a trend that Kathy Engelbert would say, hey, Fever, hey, Lynn Dunn, hey, Kelly, hey, Amber, can you guys start dangling that Caitlin Clark return like you used to do? You know, before Caitlin Clark gave a statement and you guys were hands off. Can you guys, just string them along a little bit more? We want to get these ratings back up.
Here's the thing, none of this is happening in a vacuum. The WNBA has been begging people for years to take it seriously, to give it that spotlight, to treat it as more than just an afterthought. But honestly, the league itself isn't doing anyone any favor. The commissioner seems allergic to player protection, like the idea of enforcing rules and protecting their stars is just too radical. People actually tuned in, curious to see if the hype was real. And those days before Clark got injured, they were golden. Suddenly, ESPN was pretending like they cared. Highlights were on SportsCenter, and Twitter users were acting like they knew what a pick and roll was. But the second she was out, the ratings dropped faster than Angel Reese's interest in finishing the season. It's almost like the WNBA finally figured out what happens when your entire marketing plan is one player, and your refereeing plan is just let her get punched in the face. Now, some fans might try to argue that this is just a rough patch, that injuries happen, or that foul calls are just part of the game. But let's be honest, this isn't just bad luck. This is bad leadership. The commissioner has been sitting back like a substitute teacher who's completely lost control of the class. Instead of fixing problems, the league just doubled down on ignoring them. Star players dropping out. Hey, it's fine. Referees making games unwatchable. Don't worry, the fans will stick around. Spoiler alert, they did.
Against the Chicago Sky, right after that game, they opened an investigation once again into the fans, where they found nothing, but the damage had already been done at that point. If some of these things happen just one time here and there, or there's one certain media personality who's just always saying these kind of things, then whatever. I feel like fans as a whole can be like, okay, whatever, this person is just a hater. But this is something that has happened over and over and over again, and over time, it starts chipping away at how much you're going to actually care and want to support an organization.
And the players who are still healthy, they're forced to play in games that look less like basketball and more like some combination of rugby and professional wrestling. Half the time, you're not even sure if you're watching a playoff game or WWE SummerSlam. You just expect someone to grab a steel chair at any moment. Meanwhile, the commissioner is still out there doing interviews, talking about how the league is growing and building momentum. Yeah, sure. And I'm growing taller every time I wear high heels. Calling this season growth is like calling a house fire a new lighting design. It's totally delusional. These women are out there giving absolutely everything, even while the entire system around them crumbles. They don't deserve refs who whistle like they're at a toddler's birthday party. They don't deserve leadership that treats their health like some optional side quest. And they definitely don't deserve a league that markets them only when it's convenient and then just abandons them. The second things get tough. But here we are, the WNBA season is limping to a close. Ratings are circling the drain. Stars are on the injured list. And fans are just shaking their heads, wondering if the league can even survive another year like this. If this was supposed to be the season of growth, then congratulations, I guess it grew into the biggest mess imaginable.
Man, I mean, it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing what you guys have done. And then people are catching on to your tactics. You got the people on Twitter catching on to your tactics. Like, look at this right here. Look at this right here. They say ESPN didn't want to show the ratings were down from WNBA